capture the gold. And now we will shift from speed on skates to speed on ice. And to the Alamodome we go, where EJ Ernie Johnson is standing by along with three-time Olympian Leah Miller.
1992 was a breakthrough year in the sport of short track speed skating. For the first time ever, it was a full medal event in the Winter Games in Albertville, France. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson, along with Leah Miller. We were there in Albertville to watch a sport which has really come a long way.
Well, since the caveman days when I used to skate, Ernie, and I know you would have given me that. Well, we used to use short track speed skating as more or less a skill tool for honing our own finesse out there on that short rink. And we used it for 400-meter preparation because the Olympics were only 400-meter, and all the Europeans wanted to know why the Americans were so good, and we didn't want to tell them it was because of short track speed skating where we all got our start.
The key in this sport is the turn, because you're turning most of the time on the shorter oval.
And the equipment is different in order to accommodate that short track. That's why it's called short track. The blades are shorter, they're more rounded, they're offset on your boots, and your strategy's got to be a lot different for this contact sport.
Now, in long track speed skating, you're racing against the clock. Here, it's the first to cross the line. Ready for the start of the women's 1,500-meter final. Whitney McGill, Becky Sundstrom, Kim Strakowski, Sarah Shapiro, KIRSTIN Holum, and Mary Brophy towing the line. This one is for the gold. These are the 6 who have advanced to the final round.
There was a random draw for the start positions on the line, Ernie, but you see that they're getting off to a fairly slow start.
How important is the start in a race that's going to take 13 and a half laps?
Well, you don't want to be in the back necessarily, and right now I think for KIRSTIN Holum, number 10, she's kind of biding her time. She took the lead in the heat, and that didn't work out too well for her, so now she's trying the back of the pack. She can see everybody now, and for her that might be a good position. But right now you just kind of want to get your feel where you are, kind of size up where everybody else is, and you've already got your strategy in your mind, so everybody's different.
19-year-old Mary Brophy of Saratoga Springs, New York, has the lead, a leisurely pace at this point.
Well, you can bet that someone's going to break that leisurely pace pretty soon.
We mentioned KIRSTIN Holum, who's wearing helmet number 10. You know her mom quite well. She's a coach. She coaches a lot of the skaters out here.
But she used to be a speed skater, just about the time I was a speed skater.
2 of America's finest, I might say.
She was the first in 1968. She tied for a silver medal in the 500-meter with 2 other Americans. That was the days before the clocks went to the 100th of a second.
That was the days before a lot of things.
Wait a minute.
Mary Brophy, number 11. You can see her looking over her shoulder from time to time, seeing if somebody's going to make a move.
And somebody is. Kim Strakowski's peering right over her shoulder. It's probably because she's about 5 inches taller than Mary Brophy. You can see the girls in the back are starting to get a little anxious. Here comes Whitney McGill on the outside, number 2. Red helmet, green suit. And KIRSTIN's not going to let her go alone.
About 6 laps to go, and things have really picked up here at the Alamodome.
And while they were trying to go on the outside, Kim decided to go out right up the inside and took the lead.
Kim has the long stride. She has the lead, but she is being pressed.
Well, she's 5'11". She should have a long stride, but she's being pressed right now by Becky Sundstrom on the outside, another of a long family of speed skaters. And right now it's Kim and Becky, 1-2.
Nearing the 3-lap mark in the women's 1,500-meter final. This one's for the medals, folks. And Kim Strakowski's got the lead.
And she's getting pressured from Becky. Becky's got a longer way to go, but she made a pretty clean pass there on the outside. Now Kim's got to fight to get it back, and I don't know if she can do it now, Ernie. There's only 1 lap coming up to go.
When you hear the bell, 1 lap to go in the 1,500-meter final for women in short track speed skating. And Becky Sundstrom has the lead. Kim Strakowski hanging on for the silver at this point, and all that Becky has to do is stay on her feet.
And the bronze.
She's got the gold.
Look at the bronze, fighting it out. Whitney McGill, Mary Brophy, and KIRSTIN Holum.
Our first medal in short track speed skating, and it will go to Becky Sundstrom of Glen Ellen, Illinois. And we'll have to take a look at the tape and see exactly who crossed the line for the bronze.
Well, the bronze was a tight race because Whitney McGill, number 2, Mary BROPHY, and KIRSTIN Holum coming up from behind them. We're all charging the line, and it looks like Whitney McGill stuck her foot out first and fell doing it.
That's the important thing to remember. It's not if your head crosses the line, it's the skate. And that is the difference right there. There's Diane Holum.
Well, Diane coaches the majority of these girls, but guaranteed she's yelling for her daughter here.
She seemed to be a lot more nervous before this all started than her daughter did.
Well, she told me she had a few butterflies in that stomach of hers, and I said, yep, it's hard being a mom.
So Becky Sundstrom takes the gold, followed by Kim Strakowski and Whitney McGill, and it's time now for the men's 1500-meter final. Let's take a look at the lineup there. Tony Goskowitz wearing helmet number 1, and Todd Porter, Corey and Kip Carpenter, Nick Pearson, and Tom O'Hare. And if Corey and Kip Carpenter sound like, hey, they must be brothers, they are. There's Kip. He's 14 years old. His brother wearing helmet number 5 is Corey Carpenter, who is 16 years old.
I had to laugh when you were asking Corey earlier whether he and his brother are the typical sibling rivalry, and he said, no, we're pretty good friends. Well, I wonder what it's going to look like out here when they're competitors, too.
Corey said he's so much bigger than his little brother that he rarely loses to him, but he did let him win once that he recalls. And they're both in the final here in the men's 1500 meters. Also, Nick Pearson, number 14, is in this final, and that was a surprise because in the preliminaries he was lagging well behind the pack when there was a monster crash in front of him. About 4 skaters went down, and all of a sudden Nick Pearson found himself in the finals. He is wearing helmet number 14.
And he's on the outside of the starting line right now, towards the boards.
They toe the line with medals on the line.
You can expect that the guys will be a little bit more aggressive than the girls were in their final. Tony Goskowitz not taking any chances, taking that early lead, but here comes Tom O'Hare, number 16. Both of them are in black from North.
We talk about the family aspect of this sport. We talked about the Carpenter brothers being in this, and number 1, Tony Goskowitz, trying to uphold the family pride here because his sister suffered a spill in her preliminary and did not make the finals.
Well, she had led almost the whole way. She had a half a lap to go in the 1500, and she wound up falling, trying to regain the lead, and then she got disqualified because she'd cut a block. So she had a rough luck in that one.
Tom O'Hare of St. Louis has the lead. Tony Goskowitz lurking right behind and on the inside. He's in second place.
That's one of the nice things about this sport. It's a very family-oriented sport. Tom O'Hare's mom and I go back a long way. We both competed against each other when we were just about his age. Now you see some action. Tony Goskowitz, Tom O'Hare.
8 laps to go, 13 and a half laps in this 1500-meter final for the men at the Alamodome. And there's Tony Goskowitz, the blue helmet, number 1, with the lead.
And behind him is Todd Porter, and you can expect that Todd Porter is not going to let Tony get away from him. Hanging back a little bit further, number 5 in the red suit, is Corey Carpenter, and I can expect that he's going to make a move pretty soon here too, Ernie. He doesn't like to sit back and just wait for everybody else. See, there he goes on the outside.
The way this race is developing, it's a lot like the last time that Nick Pearson made it to the finals. He's way back, but then luckily for him, there was a big crash in front. 4 laps to go now.
Well, Corey Carpenter had to go a long way because he went on the outside of all those skaters, but he's a big guy and he's been training very hard. He's strong, and you can see it didn't really take any speed away from him.
Tony Goskowitz has the lead, but folks, he is being pressed hard by Corey Carpenter, right on his heels.
But Corey's got to watch out because if he takes those turns on the blocks going into him like there, he's going to get disqualified.
A roar went up from the crowd. Everybody stayed up. 2 laps to go. Tony Goskowitz has got the lead with Corey Carpenter still with him. There's the bell for the final lap, and here they come. It's come down to a 2-man race. Tony Goskowitz in black.
And Corey's really pressing him here, Ernie. He's trying to go on the outside. Not enough.
Tony Goskowitz hangs on for the gold medal in the men's 1500 meters. And take a look at Corey Carpenter. He is flat on his back at the end of the ice. He gave it all he had down the stretch, but all he had wasn't quite enough.
Well, it could have been that after taking all those laps on the outside of the track, Corey had just a little bit, too little gas left to pass Tony at the end. You can see he gave it his all, wound up sitting down.
And Tony Goskowitz comes away with the gold medal in the men's 1500. There you see some of the bumping, and that is allowed as long as it's not a dirty move, Leah.
Well, Corey pressed a little bit too hard on Todd Porter there, and I'm wondering if they're going to call him on that, because he wound up pushing Todd Porter inside the blocks, making Todd Porter lose a lot of speed and a place.
Doesn't make any difference to Tony Goskowitz. He's the gold medal winner. So for 15-year-old Tony Goskowitz, this is a memorable night, his first U.S. Olympic Festival, and he wins the gold medal in the men's 1500 meters. Cory Carpenter takes the silver, and Tom O'Hare takes the bronze, and man, I'm telling you, that was a close finish.
And we'll have more speed skating from the Alamodome just ahead on Prime Network. And Leah.
Time for the 500-meter finals here at the Alamodome. The women will take the line first. Carrie Johnson, Becky Sundstrom, Julie Goskowitz, and Mary Brophy are the 4 finalists. 2 from the north, 2 from the east, all wearing black and blue. It's the black and blue division like the NFC Central in the NFL. This is for the gold medal, 500 meters. Julie Goskowitz, number 8. Becky Sundstrom is number 3, and she was the winner of the 1500 meters.
Got off to a great start, Ernie. She did that in the heats. I expected her to do that here in the final. She doesn't want to fool around with anybody trying to knock her down. She's taking it right from the get-go.
You can't blink when you watch the 500-meter sprint. 3 laps to go, 4.5 total in this race. And there she's down, and there goes the chance for another medal.
And I was just about to say what a graceful skater she is as she just slid off on her blade and right into the boards.
The lead now belongs to Mary Brophy with Carrie Johnson right on her shoulder, and Julie Goskowitz back in the pack.
Making a move on the inside. She's got to stay close on those markers now.
Carrie Johnson has got the lead as she heads for the line.
This was the race that Carrie wanted. She had bad luck in the 1500. She had to make it up here. She did just that.
Carrie Johnson, the gold medal winner, and what disappointment for Becky Sundstrom, who went flying out of the blocks to take the lead in hopes of another gold medal, but it was not to be as she lost her footing.
And we can see that she just caught a rut, rode it right out to the wall.
Hit that pretty hard, but she got back to her feet and is all right, but disappointment for Becky Sundstrom.
In a 500, you don't have time to make up a fall like that. You're out once you fall down.
That's even like in track and field in the 100 meters. If you stumble at all, even if you don't go down, you just can't afford, you'll never be able to catch back up. So Roseville, Minnesota's Carrie Johnson takes the gold. Mary Brophy the silver, and Julie Goskowitz takes the bronze. Becky Sundstrom would not get another gold after that slip. Now the men are on the ice for the 500-meter final, but you will not see Tony Goskowitz there. He won the 1500, but in a preliminary heat for the 500, he lost his footing, and he was out of the running. So Tony Goskowitz will not repeat as a gold medalist tonight. Let's take a look at who the men are in the final. Jason Talbot, Todd Porter, Casey FITZRANDOLPH, and Cory Carpenter. They're at the line and ready for the start.
And this, you can bet, is going to be an explosive start. Everybody's charging for the first blocks.
Explosive, and 2 skaters are down. Let's see if a false start has been called, if they're going to bring them back to the line, and they will.
As long as you fall because of someone else's fault before the apex of the turn, the starter has the discretion to call you back.
It really tells you how important a quick start is in this 500 meters, because you're only going 4.5 laps and everybody wants to get out to the head.
Well, it's like putting a large quantity into a funnel, and only a certain amount is going to get through. And as you see there, only 1 or 2 of them wound up standing.
Nobody disqualified in a situation like this. They will all go back to the line and try for a clean start now.
But they are getting a small lecture at the starting line.
The 500-meter men's final here from the Alamodome, and They'll skate over one more time and get the kinks out, maybe some of the nerves.
Try to recharge that adrenaline a little bit. Recoil.
Once again, Jason Talbot, Todd Porter, Casey FITZRANDOLPH, and CORY Carpenter are the finalists here. 500 meters. And it will take under a minute. They're asking now for quiet at the start. Takes intense concentration here, and it's not too easy to get to full speed from a standing start on those skates.
And when there's only 4.5 laps, you can bet you want to be in the lead.
This time it's a clean start.
That's right. The reason the starter didn't call it back was because no one interfered there.
Well, Casey FITZRANDOLPH fell at the start, but it was on his own.
Exactly. And CORY Carpenter is out in front and can't hold on to the lead. We've seen this happen tonight before. Becky Sundstrom just did that.
So now Todd Porter has got the lead.
And Jason Talbot's in second, number 2 in the green suit.
They head toward the line. 1 lap to go as the bell rings.
And if he stays on his feet, he's got a gold medal.
Todd Porter around the final curve, and he can cruise home for the gold medal in the men's 500 meter.
We have seen some unbelievable falls tonight from people that don't normally fall.
Todd Porter took advantage, however. CORY Carpenter had the lead, looked strong, but
couldn't hang on to that edge. Again, just caught a rut, fell down, rode it right out to the boards.
They try to cut these corners so sharply, and really you have to if you want to maintain the lead. If you take them out wide, you're going to lose your advantage anyway, and Carpenter lost it there.
Well, part of the problem too, Ernie, is that there's so many skaters skating on the same track that the ruts are just down to the cement. Once you catch one, you can't ever get out of it.
Todd Porter, Saratoga Springs, New York, a U.S. Olympic Festival gold medalist tonight. For the 19-year-old from Saratoga Springs, New York, Todd Porter, this is U.S. Olympic Festival appearance number 3. For the first time, he has won a gold medal after silvers in 1990 and 91. Here at the Alamodome tonight, 4 separate races, 4 separate gold medal winners. More to come tomorrow night from the Alamodome. We'll see you then.
And more from San Antonio on this lovely night in Texas, right after this.
Skating is a family affair of sorts here in San Antonio. There are 3 brother-sister combinations taking part here in the U.S. Olympic Festival. And the family honors on night 1 went to Tony and Julie Goskowitz. In the men's 1,500 meters, it was Tony Goskowitz claiming the gold. His sister Julie took the bronze in the women's 500 meters. There were 12 medals handed out in all on the first night. And Leah, they went to 12 different skaters.
Well, that's not unusual in this kind of a sport, Ernie. And I think we saw Becky Sundstrom from Glen Ellen, Illinois, in her graceful but experienced style, winning the 1,500 meter and then slipping up again in the 500. And that was something that was kind of unexpected for me, but typical of this sport.
Well, Becky shouldn't feel alone because there were lots of folks hitting the ice last night.
That's for sure. It would seem like just about the time we predicted somebody was going to walk away with a gold medal, somebody else came along and knocked 3 or 4 of them down. Just like we saw with the funnel effect in the one race where 3 or 4 people went down and the last person wound up taking the lead. So it's just typical of this sport, makes it exciting and makes the kids want to just go for the gold even more.
And there's gold up for grabs in the women's 1,000 meter final. 9 laps here at the Alamodome. And there you see the 4 finalists, and all of them have already medaled here at the U.S. Olympic Festival. Carrie Johnson, number 1, all in black. Becky Sundstrom in blue. Kim Strakowski in red, and Mary BROPHY representing the East, also in blue. And there you see Becky Sundstrom, 17-year-old from Glen Ellen, Illinois. We've talked about her already. Last night, almost winning double gold, but she fell in the 500 meters. Talked to her before the race, and she said she had taken the corner so fast and booted out, she says, as her skate really laid on the ice and the blade lost contact with the surface. And folks, when that happens, you're going to go sailing, and she did, into the padding. Had a little bit of a stiff neck this morning as a result of that crash, but says she's ready to go, and she is in the finals. in the 1,000-meter final. Strategically, how do you play this one out, Leah?
You play it out from the start very slowly, cautiously. You don't want to make any mistakes, and you don't want to give anybody an advantage early on. Just going to take it slow. Carrie Johnson, number 1, the black, setting the pace. Everybody's going to kind of hang in, and then I would say with about 5 to go, 4 to go, you're going to see somebody make a move.
This looks like a leisurely skate in the park, but it is really going to pick up about midway through. 7 laps to go. And Carrie leading the way with Becky Sundstrom right behind her. Not much serious jockeying for position going on just yet, but folks, that's about to change.
Well, they included the short track speed skating in the Olympic Festival about 11 years ago, and because it's always held in the summer, it's kind of an off season for the skaters. This is still during their training session, so nobody's really at peak performance level right now. But you can see here, nobody wants to give up any advantage, and Kim kind of gets them false started and gets everybody rearing to go.
It was Kim Strakowski in the red who made the initial move, and she has forged her way into second place as she passes Carrie Johnson. Everybody chasing Becky Sundstrom.
Well, Becky's a very strong skater. As I said, she comes from a good family of skaters. 5 of 6 of her family members skate. She's very graceful out there. She makes it look easy. But pivoting on one skate is anything but easy.
2 laps to go. Becky Sundstrom, who won gold last night in the 1500, has the lead. Kim Strakowski, the silver medalist in the 1500, is second right now. And there's the bell. 1 lap to go. Let's see if Becky Sundstrom can hang on for another gold. She's got the lead into the final turn, and it's going to be Becky Sundstrom and Mary Brophy for the silver. So Becky Sundstrom, with any luck at all, could have 3 gold medals at this point. But she's got 2 as she takes the women's 1,000 meters. Hand it to Mary Brophy, her teammate on the East, who came in to get the silver.
Well, we talked a little bit about Becky's fall yesterday, and I knew that she was going to come into this race and not want to take any chances. She didn't want to lay out or relax or give up any, so she took the lead kind of early on, and she just kept going through. Carrie kind of slipped in the turn, fell back a little bit, which gave Mary Brophy the momentum and the, I think, encouragement to go on for a medal.
And there's your gold medalist, Becky Sundstrom of Glen Ellen, Illinois. So it's gold medal number 2 for Becky Sundstrom, Mary Brophy with the silver. Kim Strakowski takes the bronze medal. And now it's time for the men's 1,000-meter final. And Tony Goskowitz leads the finalists, along with Todd Porter, Cory Carpenter, and Tom O'Hare. All of these men were medalists on evening number 1. Tony Goskowitz took the gold in the 1,500 meters. In the meantime, his sister won a bronze. So they are the 4 finalists, 9 laps in the 1,000-meter final. Put you on the spot here, Leah. Who do you like?
Well, you know I like Tony Goskowitz, Ernie, but if I have to agree with you, I'm going to change my mind.
Gee, thanks.
Every time I agree with you on something, I'm always wrong.
You're not the first person to learn that lesson. The skaters being introduced in the men's 1,000-meter final. Tony Goskowitz comes from your neck of the woods up there around Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Right there is Todd Porter of Saratoga Springs, New York, the gold medalist in the 500 meters last night. They wait for the gun.
They had a little bit of a slip at the start. They're going to reset them a little bit. Everybody's on nerves. Hard to balance on nerves.
Away from the line cleanly.
And nobody wants to take the lead. Here comes a brave Todd O'Hare. Going to take the lead, but it's not going to be fast. Not for a while yet.
A lot of these skaters will prefer to hang back and just see what develops before they make their move. It's just depends on the kind of style that you have.
Well, we've seen Cory Carpenter, number 5, come from behind before, and I think he's going to play that kind of a game in this race also. Tom O'Hare, however, is a very strong skater from St. Louis. He's been training also with Diane Holum, and he's going to put the pressure on. Look at him now. He's going to set the pace.
finalists of this men's 1,000-meter final.
He's hoping somebody's going to make a mistake, and when they bunch up like that, you can bet somebody will.
CORY Carpenter took that last turn way wide, and down go 3 of them in a heap.
That leaves Todd Porter all alone.
He's all by his lonesome. Let's see if everybody's all right. They appear to be.
CORY Carpenter looks a little bit stunned. He's holding his nose.
Todd Porter has got the lead. He's wearing number 3.
And there's still a race for second here. Tom O'Hare and Tony Goskowitz.
Only 2 laps to go for the leader, who is about to lap CORY Carpenter.
Well, CORY, when he fell, landed right on top of Tony. I think he might have hit his nose on Tony's helmet.
We're going to watch Todd Porter take the gold here, and then the race will boil down for who will win the silver medal. And right now, Tony Goskowitz looks like he will cruise in for the silver, and Tom O'Hare will just cruise across for the bronze. But what a wild, wild race, and very easy doings for Todd Porter to take the win. Let's take a look back and see exactly what happened. It was he had a 3-skater pileup.
Well, like we said, the minute you have a lot of skaters in a pack and one person makes a mistake, there's trouble. Tom O'Hare, a little bit in a rut, took the wipeout, knocked out the other 2.
And you saw them hit that wall pretty forcefully. It is padded. It does give a little, but you still feel it. And Tony Goskowitz gets the business end of CORY Carpenter, who falls right on top of him. Todd Porter got to watch it all in his rearview mirror. He's the gold medal winner. So for the second time at this festival, Todd Porter will be on the top step of the victory stand. He's the gold medalist. Tom O'Hare second, CORY Carpenter third, and Tony Goskowitz finishes out of the running because he was DQ'd.
Well, any other angle except on the ice would be difficult to see what actually happened in that jam-up. That's why they have the referees on the inside of the track. They're the ones who call it, and they called Tony Goskowitz out.
So Tony Goskowitz finishes out of the running, and there's your gold medal winner once again, Todd Porter of Saratoga Springs.
All right, thanks, EJ and Leah. And we'll return to the Alamodome for men's hockey in just a moment here on Prime Network. The 1993 U.S. Olympic Festival continues from lovely San Antonio here on Prime Network. The Alamodome is so massive it actually has 2 hockey rinks, one for hockey, one for speed skating to practice on, but they all play in the featured rink when it's time for competition. You have enjoyed speed skating earlier. Let's take you back to the Dome, and here's Ernie Johnson and Leah Miller with more medal play.
Back here at the brand new Alamodome, ready to crank out the women's 3,000-meter final. 27 laps around the oval. And here's the start list. Carrie Johnson, Whitney McGill, Becky Sundstrom, the 2 gold medal winner, Kim Strakowski, Julie Goskowitz, and Mary Brophy. And there is Becky Sundstrom. And Leah, we were saying that she very easily could have 3 gold medals had it not been for one slip. A very nice festival for her.
I think she's learned a lot from that slip too, Ernie. We saw it in the last race. She just went out and skated her race like she knows she's going to have to do, and I expect her to do that again here.
I don't expect to see a false start here. Nobody is in a huge hurry to get out to the lead when you're going 27 laps here at the Alamodome.
No, they took the dynamite out of that start. There's no explosion. They're just kind of on a slow train now for a while. 27 laps is a long way to go, and it's going to be the stronger of the girls, the ones that have the more stamina that can make it.
Whitney McGill setting the pace at this point, and one other thing about the festival is that these skaters all know each other. They all know their strengths and weaknesses, who has stamina, who's going to fade. It's really not like an Olympics in which you might be looking at somebody from another country and wondering what do they do at this stage of a race.
Well, it's also true because it's not a team selection race. They don't use this for anything except preparation. It's good experience for all these people because a lot of times you don't get to go away from home. You don't get to travel. You don't have that pressure, the television even, or any media for that matter. It's good experience for these skaters, and they're learning a lot, not only about each other, but about how they can perform under these conditions.
Just Just a shade over 23 laps to go in the women's 3,000 meter final. Whitney McGill, who took the bronze in the 1500, is apparently going to just give the lead away for the time being to Carrie Johnson. She was the gold medalist in the 500 meters. So Carrie will set the pace, and a lot of the skaters prefer to hang back a little bit because they can kind of draft off of that lead skater. And Kim Strakowski will take her turn at the front of the pack.
Well, nobody wants to expend any energy right now. They want to reserve it for when someone makes a move so that they can explosively sprint and catch up and maybe take the lead. So you're kind of going to see them take a little bit of a cat and mouse, a little slow, change your leader, sit back, relax, not expend any energy.
Don't make any stupid mistakes at this point. There's no reason to get careless at this point. But I think that could probably happen, couldn't it? Could you get lulled into a sense of, oh, here we go again, and suddenly you're out of the race if you
sure
catch
could.
an edge.
And a lot of times, too, when you're going so slowly, you don't really have your weight definitely over one leg or the other. You're kind of in between. And if something happens at that time, you make a mistake and you're down.
Becky Sundstrom in a familiar position at this point at the head of the pack. The gold medal winner in the 1500 and the 1000 here at the U.S. Olympic Festival in San Antonio, Texas. Julie Goskowitz goes to the lead. 15 laps to go. 15 out of 27 in the women's 3,000 meter final.
All the girls that are in the 3,000 meter final had to have final points from the other final races. And that means that they've skated not only the heats, but the semis and the finals to be here. And that lots of times takes a little bit of energy out of you just because you've skated so much. But I think you'll see that Kim Strakowski and Becky Sundstrom have the stamina to go the distance. The rest of them, I'm not real sure because it's summertime. It's not really their peak competition time. It's going to depend on who wants it the most.
Julie Goskowitz gives way to Kim Strakowski. 12 laps to go, and now they start thinking about it. When am I going to make the move?
Exactly, and there sure isn't anybody who's given up yet.
Mary Brophy moves to the front. A silver medalist in the 500 and the 1,000.
And Becky wants him to speed it up a little bit, and Julie Goskowitz is not going to let her get away without her coming along.
The pace picks up. 10 laps to go.
Carrie Johnson is right behind Becky. She wants a shot at that gold medal too. But you can see, nobody has gone out and broken away from the pack. They're all still jumbled together.
There was an indication they might about a lap ago, and they kind of settled back into a comfortable pace.
But the pace is a little bit quicker now, and Julie Goskowitz wants it to get even a little bit faster.
Julie and her brother Tony both medaled on night one of speed skating, short track here at the U.S. Olympic Festival. She leads the pack with now 7 laps to go in the women's 3,000 meter final. But right there on her shoulder is Becky Sundstrom, who's already got 2 golds to her credit, and she's got her in her sights.
Well, there's 6 laps to go, and this is a pretty gutsy move for Julie Goskowitz because she's not as experienced as some of the other skaters. She's not as strong. She's not as physically mature, but she sure is gutsy by taking the lead now with 5 to go.
Becky Sundstrom makes her move on the outside and makes the pass. She's got the lead.
And Kim Strakowski in the red, number 4, is right with her.
I tell you what, 4 laps to go. Very few skaters have had any luck catching Becky Sundstrom when she's had a lead like this. Kim Strakowski is going to try to, with 3 laps now to go in the women's 3,000 meter.
Becky Sundstrom was in just this position when she took her fall. She kind of relaxed a little bit, let her skate ride too long, and as she said, the boot hit the ice and she was down. We can't let that happen tonight. That's why she's got her pace going a little bit faster. You won't see her glide any length of time on one skate.
Becky Sundstrom has been the story in short track speed skating so far. You heard the bell, 1 lap to go. She's 1 lap away from her 3rd gold medal. And if she stays up, folks, she has got it. Becky Sundstrom of Glen Ellen, Illinois is going to win a gold for the 3rd time. Kim Strakowski takes the silver. Whitney McGill in for the bronze. That race will take a little bit out of you. The legs are aching, aren't they?
Well, that's what we talked about with the experience. When Becky took the lead, you could tell that she wasn't going to ease up on her pace. She wanted her leg speed to continue at a pretty regular rhythm. She didn't want to have to glide too long. She didn't want to make that same mistake and fall down. She took the lead, and she never eased up on that steady rhythm.
There was no catching Becky Sundstrom once she took the lead, and once again, she's golden. Getting to be old hat for the 17-year-old. Going to wear herself out just walking to the victory stand again and again and again. Women's 3,000, she takes the gold, and Kim Strakowski the silver. Whitney McGill takes the bronze. And it's time now for the men's 3,000-meter final. 7 skaters going the 27 laps. And here's the field. Tony Goskowitz, Jason Talbot, Todd Porter, Casey Fitzrandolph, Corey Carpenter, his brother Kip Carpenter, and Tom O'Hare. And you recall that in the 1,000 meter, Tony Goskowitz, who won the gold in the 1,500, was disqualified in the 1,000 because of the big spin out they had in one of those turns. He looks none the worse for wear, even though Corey Carpenter landed right on him, and they went flying into the padded wall. But he's back now looking for another medal to go with his gold in the 1,500. They go to the line, we wait for the gun.
Well, with 27 laps, I don't think you're going to see the men skate any faster off the line than the women did. They're going to kind of jockey for position, get into a very slow rhythm, take turns being the leader, and hang in.
The race within the race here will be between number 5 and number 12, the Carpenter brothers, and there you see Corey going out to the lead.
He's not serious about it, though, because he's just coasting. He kind of wanted them to know that he's there, and then he's going to hang back and let them catch him, try to wear him out a little bit.
And here's his brother right behind him. Now Corey is 16 years old. He's about 6 feet tall. His brother Kip, number 12, is about 5 feet tall. Outweighs him by about 30 pounds, and very rarely is able to beat him out here on the ice.
Now you see Corey going wide, letting somebody else take the lead, and it's Jason Talbot, number 2.
Jason took the silver in the 500 from Schuylerville, New York. And to say this pace is leisurely would be an understatement, at least.
You sure you don't want to go join him now?
I still think I'd be lapped within about 8 seconds.
Well, they're going to have a little bit of a diversity here now. Jason's going to put a little pressure on. Jason told me that he hasn't really been training that hard this summer. He's been taking it easy, giving himself a little bit of a mental break. So he's just toying with them now. He knows he can't go the whole distance at that speed, but he's just trying to get somebody else to make a mistake, get a little bit tired, so he can have a break.
Well, he drew Kip Carpenter up there to join him at the front of the pack. And Kip will spend a lap or so at the head of the field.
Well, they've got 19 laps to go, and they're all kind of still doing their calisthenics, just warming up a little bit. But you can bet Tony Goskowitz is not going to try and make any mistakes this time, and Tom O'Hare, number 16, going right with him. Todd Porter's in a good position, number 3 in the blue. He's sitting back kind of in the middle. He just hopes that nothing's going to go wrong hanging in the middle. He really wants to be either in the lead or within striking position. Now here comes Jason Talbot again. He's not giving up.
Jason Talbot skating for the South with 16 laps to go, straightens up and takes it easy. And here comes number 16, Tom O'Hare, with Tony Goskowitz, his teammate, right with it. Todd Porter is currently 4th. He's trying to duplicate the feat of Becky Sundstrom, that is, win 3 gold medals. Todd won the 500 and the 1,000, as we've said, and he's right there in striking position. 14 laps to go in the men's 3,000-meter final.
And at this point, Todd wants to have eyes looking forward, but also he'd like to have eyes in the back of that helmet so he can see just what Corey Carpenter's up to there behind him.
And don't forget about Jason Talbot, who's at the back of the pack, but has just been playing with these guys the entire race so far.
And Casey Fitzrandolph, number 4, has made a move up now to 2nd place. He got a little bit tired, I think, sitting in the back there. He was tired of watching all those people in front of him.
Tom O'Hare, Casey Fitzrandolph. Fitzrandolph pretty big guy by speed skating standards here at the festival. Also plays some football, wants to be a place kicker. Wants to play some small college football up in Wisconsin. And right now, he's got the lead. 10 laps to go.
Well, I don't think when he moved up that he wanted to have the lead, but as Tom O'Hare went wide, he wound up with it by default. Now they're still jockeying again. Nobody's made a move yet. They've only got 9 laps to go.
Yeah, we're into single digits. And now the wheels start turning upstairs and the legs start turning.
Corey on the outside.
Cory Carpenter makes the move and says, catch me if you can. He's got the lead with 8 laps to go.
But Cory knows that he's strong enough and big enough to hang on to the lead for those 7 more laps. Tony's got his work cut out for him, and Tom O'Hare's right behind him.
Cory Carpenter started his move with 8 laps to go. He's got the lead now with 6 to go in the men's 3,000-meter final. Tony Goskowitz, with a gold medal in the 1,500 already to his credit, is closing fast.
Well, Cory's starting to tire a little bit. It was a good move because he really made those people work to catch up to him. And they're all tired too, but Tony Goskowitz has been the strength throughout this whole Olympic festival, and he just passes Cory, who takes a flying leap.
Cory wound up in that same position last night at the finish with Tony Goskowitz winning the gold, and now it's Tony who has the lead, 3 laps to go. Cory Carpenter still down, disappointed. Tony Goskowitz has the lead. He's about to lap Jason Talbot.
Well, you can bet that Tony just wants to stay on his feet. He doesn't want to make any mistakes. He's tired, but he knows everybody else is tired, but he doesn't want to make that crucial mistake like we've seen happen so often here.
There's the bell, the final lap. Tony Goskowitz has the lead. His teammate Tom O'Hare is in position for the silver. All he has to do is stay on his feet, and there's another gold for Tony Goskowitz. He wins the men's 3,000 meters. And his teammate Tom O'Hare takes the silver. Well, he was up to the challenge, Leah. Carpenter laid down the gauntlet, and Goskowitz was there to accept it and then burn by him with just a few laps to go.
Well, I really think that Cory had a good idea by taking the lead and putting the pressure on everybody else, making them go his speed. He probably went out a lap too soon for Tony Goskowitz because Tony's got the power and the strength and the experience to keep up with him, and we saw it here. He took it right away.
It was almost as if Cory Carpenter thought to himself, there's no way I'm going to catch him if he passes me. I'm cooked. There's no catching Tony Goskowitz. He's done it again. Another gold medal. And for his teammate from the north, Tom O'Hare, this is medal number 3, a couple of silvers and a bronze now. And Casey FITZRANDOLPH of the West takes the bronze. Goskowitz and O'Hare, 1-2 for the north.
Well, thank you very much, EJ and Leah, and it was a most frustrating afternoon, most difficult day for 16-year-old Cory Carpenter. Not only did he fall in the 1,000 meters, although he did win the bronze when another competitor was disqualified, he fell there when passed by Tony Goskowitz in the latter stages of the men's 3,000, and then he was seriously injured and wiped out in the 5,000 meters. We will have the tape for you here. Take a look at this. In the relay, he turns to come back, and when he does, he will collide with another competitor head on. Here first, the slip, into the wall, back up against the pack, and the collision, boom, with Goskowitz. He was taken to Baptist Memorial Hospital, where doctors diagnosed him with a first-degree concussion and a cervical strain. He's hospitalized overnight for observation. A very difficult day indeed for the Brookfield, Wisconsin native in Cory Carpenter. And we will have more from San Antonio and our continuing coverage of the U.S. Olympic Festival in just a moment.